Hi, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Cosplay Evo. Today we're doing Cosplay 101 Foamsmithing Edition, Part 4. Now, right now we are tackling down the actually assembling process and the actual making of the prop. I'm going to show you all the techniques and the skills to try to get these intricate details. So yeah, let's go on. So as I covered in the previous video, all the materials, you're gonna need obviously your pattern, of course, just some basic stuff. Over here on this side I just have like unnecessary items. Again, it's not divided in half, but it's okay. Your utility knife, your scissors or X-Acto knife if you prefer using the X-Acto knife, your blade sharpener, some gloves, contact cement obviously, and your marking device of choice. And for the unnecessary part, some Bristol board. I like using Bristol board because it's the thick, or you can use poster board from the dollar store. You get a whole sheet of that thing, and some Loctite spray adhesive 200. I like this one because you'll see why in a minute. So yeah, let's tackle down this build. Now I'm using the Lawrence Iwood one, Deku Mask. You can obviously find a free one, or if you want a freehand one yourself, and go ahead and do that. I'm not going to cover this. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but yeah, we're doing a pre-made one. But this is how it's supposed to look like, as you can see. Thankfully, he actually has some where to bevel and stuff, and he actually marked if it's 6mm and 4mm. It's okay if you don't get the right dimensions correctly, because yeah, I don't want to wait in order just for the 6mm and the 4mm rules. So I decided to go with 2 5mm. That way it at least fits in with the 10mm pieces on the side. So let's get to cutting. Now this is where the Bristol board and the adhesive the spray adhesive comes in. You can go ahead and cut this out and I'll pin it onto the foam like that. But if you want it stronger and make sure it doesn't rip, you're gonna go ahead and grab a sheet of Bristol board or your paper of choice that you chose, and you're gonna use some spray adhesive. Spray this sheet down, and then you're gonna lay it down right here, and that way you cut it out, it's thick and it doesn't when you go pin it down, it doesn't like catch on the pieces. You'll see what I mean a bit. Just doing this process outside because this thing can get in the way and smells terrible. So let's spray. Give that to dry and we'll stick it together. When it's tacky to a touch, you can go ahead and try to lay it flat as possible. Trying to eliminate wrinkles, air bubbles and all that. And there you go. That's how you create some nice thick templates. Alright, so right after you're done putting the sprayed adhesive, or if you skip that step, you can go ahead and cut out your patterns. Hopefully you did a better job than me. So yeah, let's do a time lapse of me cutting all these pieces out. When you come to a point where there's these little triangle pieces, or there's like half little circle or oval pieces, those are called notches. Basically to help you line up your patterns and make sure it lines up perfectly and not uneven. Especially it's done for helmets, especially just in case you don't want one side looking like it just helps. I usually don't do it. I should, just because I'm teaching you. Learn from my mistakes. But yeah, they're either, if they're ovals, just cut them in triangles, that way it's lined up. Because I know some of you guys have pattern notchers. Go ahead and use those. It makes cosplay a lot more easier. But I like to do the hard way. Alright, got all my notches cut out. Now it's time for these circles. I hate cutting out circles, but all you gotta do is just take your time and go slow and steady. I like to use the X-Acto blade and sharpen it. That way I don't like tearing the paper, because believe it or not, I have torn the paper with my X-Acto blade. I'm not sure if that's just me, or if it's my blade, or Who knows? Might be both. Now hopefully he did a better job of cutting circles than me, but this is how the pattern looks. And now here's just the base, I would say. So yeah, let's continue cutting out all these pieces. Now thankfully, this pattern only has these 4 circles. If you duplicate it, it's 8, but you know, we'll come to that problem when we get there. Now for this demonstration, I'll be using some scrap 10mm foam. You can buy a roll of this, covered this in the last video. I'm using this craft foam. I would usually use the high density foam rolls, but I don't want to waste a new roll on something, and this is easier to work with too. Now you need your safety pins and your tracing device, and trace basically the 5mm parts first because it's easiest. Now when you're cutting foam or cutting something in general with the utility knives and X-Acto knives, make sure you're cutting on a self-healing mat. I got this one. I know it's small, but hey, it does the job. I also got a big one on my main desk. This is just a separate one. Yeah, I don't want to ruin any important furniture, and you blame me for that. That's not on me. If you want to, cut out the easiest part first. But we're difficult, and we love to be difficult, so we're gonna cut the main pieces out first. All right, now we have our foam. So as you can see, this is only one side, so we're gonna have to trace every single one of them 2 times. So yeah. Now the reason I didn't cut these parts because I want to get this rounded edge, but I basically already know how to line it up. But you take your pins, your tracing device, get your pins out. Now, if you were me, I would like to conserve my foam. Like if you're a cosplayer just starting out, or if you're on a cosplayer on a budget, I like to you know, conserve my foam because I'm not one of those big YouTubers, big cosplayers who like just put their pieces everywhere and just yeah. I like to start near the edges. That way I can conserve foam. And I can use it a little bit more in the future. Trust me, you run out of this stuff very quickly, no matter how big or how small your project is, you lose this a lot. So there we go. Don't forget to mark it too after you're done. Now the reason I have these arrows is because of the bevels I was talking about earlier. Now go ahead and trace it. Now you can use any marker that'll show on foam. I just had this one because I just had this laying around. I usually use the silver ones, but they didn't have any silver ones. And the great thing about these registration marks, there's these dotted lines where the detail of the mask is, so we can use that to our advantage. Almost forgot the circle part. That would have been a major, crucial part. And there you go, your first pattern. Now you can go ahead and get a ruler, connect these lines. I am going to do that, but this is left. I gotta mark these. And then right after you're done with your left piece, we're gonna move on to the right piece. You're probably wondering, how do we do the right piece? Basically, you just want to flip over the pattern so it's the opposite side. And you can angle it. I'll probably do it like this. Because if I did it this way, look how much foam I'm wasting. I mean, yes, I can probably put this side piece, but honestly, we could probably use, yeah, we could probably use like not even half the sheet to make this whole entire piece. And that way, just in case you guys decide to do more projects, you have a little bit of excess foam. That way you don't have to buy too much foam. I'm trying to save you guys money here. Now I got all the pieces all cut out. As you can see, some of these don't have the L on the right because I just didn't care to, because they're just gonna be stacked on top of each other. I think as long as you know what you're doing, you should be good. I think the only main two pieces I'm worried about is just these two, but that's about it. But it's nothing too serious. As you can see, we didn't even use half the sheet. So what I like to do, is to cut like around it. That way it gives me. Always sharpen your blades, by the way. I like to cut around it. That way I don't have this entire sheet just getting in my way constantly. So I like to get near the pieces sometimes. Try not to cut inside the lines. Want just enough that it's not too big to handle. There we go. I know it's kind of weird just using the waves. I like to do that just to conserve foam. Always sharpen your blades. I always gotta say that. You can pick this sharpening stone up at the Dollar Tree. Same one, I believe. I mean, that's where I saw it. I just had this laying around. I'm not sure who had this. I just took it. So in this one, we're not focusing on power tools yet. This is basically for beginners, and if you want to use the power tools, that'll be in the next video. But this video is just for the without power tools, basically. And always be careful when you're cutting. You don't want to cut towards you. I mean, I'm cutting towards myself. I don't know why I said. Obviously, be careful when using these sharp objects. You don't want to cut yourself. I'm gonna use this for the next cosplay. Now for this demonstration, I said you need bevels on these two pieces. Now, I suck at making bevel cuts. That's why I got this bevel edge cutter. I'm gonna be using this, but the way you would do a bevel cut, I'm gonna use a scrap piece for now, is you would hold the blade at an angle, at a 45-degree angle, and when you would cut, you have a 45, as you can see. And there you go. That's how you make a 45-degree cut. I'm gonna use the bevel edge cutter because it makes cutting foam on an angle much more easier. You can use this with any knife. What can we do now? Okay. Use this with utility knife or X-Acto knife, but I'm gonna use this thing. Let's get to cutting. Now, thankfully, it's only these two pieces. The bevel. Make sure my blade is sharp too, because sometimes the reason why you want to sharpen your blade is because the foam dulls the blade very quickly. Now for bevels, you just want to go. You want to cut inside the line because that's where the actual pattern sizing is. There we go. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Try to connect these lines. And then, now your bevels want to go in, so, where's that cut I made? So this is how your bevels should look like on each side, on each piece. Because if they're the same thing on different sides, they're not gonna interlock correctly. So I made that mistake quite sometimes, but that's in the past. That's in the past. That's history. Always go slow and steady. You don't want to rush it, because when you rush your projects, it's not going to turn out how as you wanted. It's not going to turn out how you wanted to. And then I rush multiple projects, so do not be like me. This edge piece is always gets me. Use the blade. There we go. Made my first bevel cut. Alright, couldn't find my normal one. I'm gonna use the yardstick one. You obviously don't need to get these rulers. I just like this, the straight edge. Find any other straight edge and it'll work. cut this out. Almost forgot to cover the circles. Go ahead with an X-Acto blade, or if you have the Cosplay Tools circle cutter, that's what I used to use, but I lost it. I don't know where it went, but next video I'll show you how to get some nice clean circles if you don't like to do it freehand. I don't like to do it freehand, but you know what, we'll do it. You know, if you don't like doing this, I don't like doing cutting it out circles by hand. Find something that's the exact same shape. You find a copper pipe, or what I used to use was the cap of a Sharpie. I don't know how it worked. It worked, but if you don't have anything circular, cutting out with the exact knife is what you gotta do. Here it is. Honestly, my proudest and most, this is the best circle cut I did by hand. So yep, you gotta do it 8 more times. Alright, we got all our pieces cut out. Now, move these to the side. You're probably wondering why these are cut and doesn't look like, you know, this. Because it's gonna go behind the mask, no one's gonna look. Yeah. Trust me, I made this thing more than 3 times. But anyways, I'm gonna get these pieces out, and then we're gonna found my ruler. But now we're gonna go cut these line details, and we're gonna score it. What I mean by score it is to mean you're gonna cut into it, but don't cut into it fully when you separate it. Do not separate them. You're just gonna lightly cut it. Oh, that's how I would interpret it. It's best with the straight edge. You get clean lines. Can do it freehand, but just have a steady hand. Now you can leave. Now, once you're all done with all these, you can leave it like this, or take it one step further and use a heat gun. Now, what this is doing is shrinking the foam and heat sealing it better for paint, and also opens up these lines better so you can see them more. So let's continue with the rest. As you can see, it's a lot more shiny. Make sure you're not holding it at one area all at once, because you will burn the foam, and luckily I haven't done that yet. Alright, thanks to our nice steps, I don't have to watch a video, and we're ready for gluing. The reason why I sound like this puts off some dank fumes, and you do not want to be breathing this stuff in. So I have a respirator on. Start gluing. The thing with contact cement, you don't want to let it dry right after you paint it, like 1 to 2 minutes, and once it's sticky, you stick it together, and should be ready to go. And there we go. First piece glued. Let's get on with the rest of these things. Now we got it all nice and glued. This is how it looks like. I think this part was supposed to be beveled on the beginning part. I didn't see it on the pattern. That might be my bad. But I don't know. It says do not bevel bottom mask. I mean, hopefully this is how it's supposed to go. I don't know. I'll check the video later. This is just the basic tutorial anyways. Next video is going to be more advanced. Now we're going to glue on these pieces here. Little side pieces. Now for these, all you want to do is just hold them to the side and then trace it out, and that's where your gluing mark should be. You don't want to use a lot at the same time, because it's going to be all runny and goopy. You don't want that. You want a nice thin coat. That way it isn't take too long to do. pieces. Depending if your piece has a pocket of like air, you can go ahead and flip that piece. That's what I usually do, have the nicer side on the outside and the ugly side on the inside. Let's be honest, not even the professionals, they're not perfect either. That's weird. Okay. Now my storage ran out. Now I'm kind of mad because I made this entire piece. Basically, just sandwiched it together, traced down the back side, traced it right here. Same thing I did on this side, and it's good. It's all good. Then it's ready for paint. Next video, well, the video after the next video, I'm going to show you all the painting process. This is more like the beginner tutorial. As you see, we didn't use any power tools besides the heat gun. You don't have to use it, but it's optional. But this is the beginner of the foam smithing for your cosplays. And see you part 6, where we cover the painting process and then the damage process. Now, I hope you guys learned something from this video and hopefully inspired you or sparked an interest. But anyways, if you guys like this video, comment, like, subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.